Very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Design Meetup powered by IxDF Kerala and co-sponsored by Experion Technologies. Human emotion play a significant role in how people perceive and interact with technology. Emotions plays an important role in the overall user experience and can significantly influence user engagement, satisfaction, and loyalty. Let's discover how design can invoke strong feeling and create a memorable user experience and shape a meaningful user interactions. So our speaker today, Mithra Sreekumar, a UX designer, will be taking us through the topic emotion and design. Over to you, Mithra.
Thank you, Megha, for that wonderful introduction.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. So, a very good afternoon to all. Let me take you to the interesting topic that is emotion and UX design as the ISCF session today. For better experience, for avoiding distractions and all, let me please put off my camera. My topic today is emotions and UX design. So, these are the topics that we are going to discuss today. Basically, what is emotion, basic emotions, and the role of emotions in UX. What is emotional design and the aspects in that, and also some techniques to develop that emotional design, and what is the importance as a UX designer that we have to understand what is emotional design. So going on to the slides. As an introduction that let me introduce what is actually UX design. UX design with emotion. So emotions are like they have a crucial role in our overall experience. Like when we are experiencing certain things, certain emotions are evoked in us. And actually these emotions influences how a person interact, engage, or give loyalty to something. So in case of an application or website, this makes sense. Like when a person have some positive interactions or positive emotions, then that person is having that better experience. So emotional design is a concept in UX design that focuses how to create that positive emotions and get a connection with the user. So there are certain techniques to evoke these kind of positive interactions, and tapping into that user's emotional state can create some excitement or engaging or loyalty and memorable experience to the user. So let's get in deeper into it. So before we going to understand what is actually emotional design, first we have to go through what are emotions. As we can all relate to the famous animated movie Inside Out, in that the character, the humans are controlled by certain emotions inside our brain, like fear, anger, um, excitement, like that. So sadness and all. So these are the characters that mold a person, or these are the characters which controls the actual behavior of a person. So, according to the American Psychological Association, it is a complex reaction pattern involving experimental, behavioral, and physiological elements. So, emotions are how individuals actually respond to the various stimuli or experiences around them. So, the emotional experiences have the three components, that is subjective experience, physiological responses, and the behavioral or expressive response. Subjective experiences, when it is, as the name suggests, as a person is subjected to certain things, uh, that that itself is like it depends on different people for different things. Like it is actually subjective. When the stimulus is given to a person, how that person responds to that situation, like that. And the physiological response is the kind of flight and fight. That is actually because of fear and all, we'll have some kind of thoughts, and then the hormonal changes happening inside our body controls certain actions, or like increasing heart rate, like that. And the third one is the behavior or explosive response. That is the that is how a person is explaining in it in face and all, like what feeling. If I'm having some sadness, then that is reflected on my face, and my behavior and gesture is all controlled by that. So certain these are the emotions, and these are the components of emotions by which we express ourselves. So, basic emotions, uh, we have first categorized it like by Paul Ekman by into six basic emotions like happiness, surprise, disgust, sadness, fear, and anger. And later on, Robert Patrick then added on two more uh, emotions, and then he created a wheel kind of structure that is illustrated over the right side, and this is known as the wheel of emotions. Actually, this have a resemblance with the color wheel, and as in color wheel, also we have a possibility of mixing the colors right now. Likewise, here also we can mix emotions and then create another emotion like excitement, trust, joy plus trust. Like we can create some other emotion like that. So this is all about emotions. Then we can then go to understand how what is the role of emotions in UX. So it is very important that creating compelling and engaging of a user, there is a crucial important role is done by the emotion, like how a person perceive things. And perception is like what is the first impression or something that we get from while visiting an application or while interacting with a product. That is how the perception happens. And then comes the attention and engagement. Emotions are having a vital role in capturing and sustaining users attention. And then comes the important part, that is memory and recall. When we have a positive emotion evoked, then we will always try to remember. And also negative emotions also, when that also we will remember, and that is used in a negative way. Like if one encounters a negative emotion from the usage of an application or interface, we won't actually visit it very often, right? So that is the importance of that emotions in UX. And also the decision making um, thing, that is the designers if we feel like positive emotions are evoked by a website or some application, then the user is always having a feeling of trust and confidence, and it makes the user by to make use of it in future also. So by using the correct colors, typography, and all, we can produce that kind of trust in the user. And so we can say that it is very important to create that emotions for giving a better UX. So now we can come to our topic, that is the what is emotional design. Actually, that is suggested by developed by Don Norman, a psychologist, and as we all know that he is the father of UX design, and he developed this three levels of design. And he concluded that there are three major levels for um, creating that emotional design. So these are the three major levels, that is visceral, behavioral, and reflective level. So the three levels are very important, that these are some or in some or the other way present in the emotional design. In the rate or the variation of each element in the emotional design varies according to the application need and age group, or the need, the intention of the application, like that. So first is the visceral level or visceral aspect of emotional design. That is actually the subconscious reaction based on appearance. That is once a person first encounters an application, the what is the first impression that he gets from the application or website or the interface. And second level is the behavioral level. That behavioral level depends upon the reaction that emerges from the ease or difficulty of use. That it depends upon more about the functionality of the device. So when he does some activities inside the app, how it goes on, that is the behavioral level. And coming to the third one, that is the reflective level. Reflective level is the reaction that derives from the past experience and memory, and also it allows the user to think about the future experience also. So while the visceral and behavioral levels are more or less depends upon the present interaction, the reflective level is more like keeping that loyalty or trust to the application or interface. So these are the major three levels of emotional design. So by using these um, levels, we can create interesting emotional designs. So there are certain techniques to develop that emotional design. So we can first discuss the general ways of creating that emotional design, and then dig deeper into each, creating each level. So the generally we can create that emotional design by creating humor in our content. And if the content is all like then of storytelling kind of mode, then that all evokes positive emotions in the user. And this will help in creating that positive attachment to the application or the website. And then also we can use the imagery that we are using should be in align with that intention of the application, and also relatable voice, that is the tone and voice, the copy that we are using inside the application, that all creates certain emotions in the people, and that helps them to relate how it works. And then the micro interactions, that's also the positive surprises that we give to the user. And also there are certain techniques to like even tolerate the bad experiences what a person is having. But a good example for it is like the uh, that dinosaur game that goes on when we have an error page in a website and all. So it's a very beautiful example of how to tolerate that. So it is engaging in the same time and gives an experience to the user, and to balance that negative thing. So going deeper into each level, how to create the visceral design, what are the techniques we can use? Small techniques, as it is the first impression kind. It is so how can we create that first impression? By visual aesthetics, that is by color psychology, applying color psychology, and imagery selection. Wise use of images can be selected. And also the typography and motion and small animations that we give to an application. These all are the techniques to create that first impression. And also we can create while choosing the colors and all, we can always think of like red and certain age old concepts like pink is for feminine, red is to yellow. Like that, people will red and yellow for appetizing, like that. So these all things people will relate, and these all are for generate that first kind of impression to the user. So then how, moving on to the behavioral design, what are the techniques that we can use? Like onto the behavioral design, as I discussed, it is about the functionality, or how the application or website works, or the product, how it works. So here, the even the selection of CTS, call to action buttons and all, the text or the color that we are choosing have a very importance for the uh, message that it conveys. And also the visual hierarchy can be maintained by using the color, placement and the emphasis of the elements, like that. And also talking about the functionality, the feedback and rewards that once a person goes to another, like what is the actual functionality of the application, what all functions have to be added, like for a sleeping app, what are the functionalities required, for a wellness, that fitness application, what are the functionalities given, tracking of drink, glasses of water drink, like that. So that is one technique. And also creating scarcity and urgency postures, that is kind of alarming. That also evokes that alarming emotion in that user, and makes the user feeling to buy it, if that is 30% off or limited time offer, like that. And also the gamification is another technique, that is integrate elements such as badges and points. So the user then thinks that he's having um, some progress, like that. So that kind of positive emotions can be evoked by giving this kind of badges and points. So, coming to the reflective design, as I said, it is very important to create that long-lasting relationship with the application for the user. So, the user, if it is having that positive result from the application, he will definitely use the application more often. And also in this competitive world, like um, a, a user who is having an application is having a competitor always. So user is choosing the best one always. So for having that better UX design and better emotions from an application, then he will definitely choose that over the other one. So, certain techniques that here we can use is a storytelling, and another one is thought-provoking content. Like if the user is engaged, like giving an excited story, or giving a puzzle to be solved at the end, like that, then these all create that excitement in the user, and that will actually make the user to remember it in the future, and maybe suggest it to others also. And also the personalization that we can give, the evoke that emotion of attachment to the user. Also reflection prompts can be given, like feedback of certain actions that we have already done, that then the user will get a feel of deeper understanding and getting connected to the application. So we can then now move on to certain daily examples that we all experience daily in certain applications. So Calm is a meditation and mindfulness application where it is actually used to get the user into a relaxed, more stress-free kind of situation. So here in this, while designing this application, here the designer have chosen wisely the visceral, behavioral, and reflective aspects of the design to create that emotion in the user. So first we can check the visceral thing, design that uh, the designer have taken into consideration. So here, as we can see that the color and the soft blue and the greens are the most colors that is used in this application. So that gives a calmness emotion in the user. And also the typography, the typefaces used, and also the imagery that is used in this application gives that nature theme, calmness, that emotion is getting evoked by this wise selection of images now. And also the animation and the background and also the sounds that is used in this application all give that softness and calm emotion in the user. And coming to the behavioral aspect of this application, certain badges are given like mindful days. If I complete this much days, then that kind of middle badge will be more like that. So it will give that appreciation kind of emotion in the user. And also the functionality basics is like the more accessible, uh, more required things are easily accessible here, like the sleep, meditation, and these all are arranged at the bottom, as you can see at the bottom. So it is easily accessible for the user. And also the personalized recommendations. These all create that positive connectivity with the application. Also, features like the duration settings, tracking, etc., helps the user to get into that calm state, calm emotion state. So, coming to the reflective part, as the name suggests, it is the reflection that it is actually a long-lasting relationship factor. So, as the application is having that meaningful and emotional attachment, evoking kind of text and all, the copy is always how are you feeling. That means it is creating that sense of connectivity, and that attachment is created by that, and that emotion evokes the user, and it will keep the user in that memory, and that is all what is intended by that application. And also the streak tracking in this application, that is for attaining certain goals and all, that is marked in the calendar, and we can share it with other people. So it will always give that positive reinforcement in the user's mind, and it will tend him to stay more in this and use the application more often. So, coming into another example, that is Duolingo. It is the language learning application, as you all know. So, here also we have that the designer uses that visceral, behavioral, and reflective aspects of emotional design very wisely. As you can see, that the application is very uh, friendly interface that they have created by the vibrant green color and all. And also the cute character duo, they call it as duo. That duo character is created, mascot kind of thing is there, and it is always like a storytelling. It will navigate us through the application. So the behavioral aspect is also seen in the seamless flow of lessons like that. So, and also the reflective senses that accomplished by the giving certain badges and all, that we can actually go back and look that, and the person who uses the app have that sense of pride and confidence from the from certain notifications that is like this, the milestone accomplishment, celebration kind of things are included in this app. So this is one. These are the techniques that they use to create that emotional attachment with the user. And coming to WhatsApp messaging, that it is like always annoying. Like maybe sometimes it creates like a fear sometimes that, as you all know, might have experienced this thing. So I myself have experienced it while deleting a message in a group. So it is that they have provided three options, and when some person is like actually wanted to delete the message for everyone, but accidentally clicked on delete for me only, then that person goes to a clueless condition where he cannot do anything. So, if as I have personally experienced it, then that I have that negative emotion there, and also that fear that any time when I go to message or um, I am having that fear in my mind. So that is a negative emotional interaction that we face sometimes. So likewise, more examples are there, like when we um, book, like when we register for something, like a newsletter is always tick mark, then that is having that negative emotion attachment, that always I'm facing that um, messages in between, and also the advertisements that comes in between the application, that is that are like distracting kind of things that evokes that disgust or annoying feeling, confused feeling in the application. So these all are like negative emotions that tends the user to actually not use the application, so that leads to a bad UX. So we as designers, we have to think about the use of emotions, and we have to wisely use and decide how to create better experience. So what is then, what is actually the importance of emotional design? As we have discussed this much, then we can actually know how important is emotions in emotional design. Emotional design and the user experience is how much correlated and interrelated, we know that. So emotional designs have that much impact on users and how they perceive and interact with digital products. So when the users have that positive experience, they will always have that interest to come and use the app more oftenly. And also, as I said earlier, this while we have always competitors for the same product or same service, we always compete with others. So in order to stand out, or in order to make the user use our product, then we have to create this emotional design concept in our UX for that purpose. So, in order to compete with the others. So, that is how important emotional design in UX. So, uh, concluding that it is the key differentiator for businesses who have to look for a standout from the crowd. And also, these are emotions and feelings. These are like, these evoke positive emotions, and the it will then reflect in the long lasting relationship with the customers. And what, as the UX designers, what we have to do is that it is we who creates that emotions in the people who uses the application or a product, and it is our duty or it is our skill to develop better or positive emotions for the user in order to create the better UX. So to design products that appeal to the users is in an emotional level can actually create memorable and successful products and services. So hope that the session has evoked a positive emotion to stay connected with me. So thank you all.
Thank you, Mithra, for taking us through emotion UX design. It is something interesting because emotion is the one which is connecting in our daily life. So, and also you have explained some of the techniques, like how to design those stuffs and all. So let's move on to the Q&A session. So please feel to unmute yourself and ask questions or type in the chat window. As well as you can also share your feedback or your own experience related to this topic.
Hello. Hi. Hi, Mitra.
Thank
Am I audible?
yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you for taking a wonderful section. And I have a little doubt. Are there any specific cultural consideration that designers should keep in mind when creating a emotionally appealing design for a global audience?
Actually, while considering the cultural aspects of a design is very important. Uh, if we are designing for a global audience, that is another case. And if we are considering few cultural like for a particular basic region only, like UK or France or Africa, like that at a particular region based, if we are designing, that is then we have to deal with the three levels, like the visceral, behavioral, and reflective levels of design. That is color, storytelling, like that on that specific area, like specific culture of that area. But if we are using the if we are designing for a general audience, then that we have to think about the culture in the we have to think in a way that to avoid that cultural differences, to make sure that these cultural stigmas are not taken into our application or in taken into consideration while designing. So it should avoid certain kind of taboos like that.
Okay. Thank you for clearing my doubt. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am.
Mitra, what about different age groups? Are there any similar considerations for that also?
Likewise, in age group also, we can, if there is a particular, we are designing the application or website for a particular age group, we can consider it in that way. Like if we are designing for children, like in the age group of 3 to 5, 10, or like that, then we can select the colors, mascot maybe, typography that we are choosing. All that have to be taken into consideration while designing in the age group. If we are then forced to design an application in multi-generational audience, then it is kind like we have to purposefully avoid this stereotypes in that age specific stereotypes. We have to remove it actually. So what we do in the age categorized thing is actually reverted in case when we use the multi-generational audience. Likewise, we have done in the cultural thing also.
Cultural one. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, makes sense. Thank you, Mitra.
Thank you for the question.
Thank you, Nikhil.
Hi, Mithra.
Hi.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
It was a very informative session. Like I have a doubt. Like, how can designers take a balance between delighting users with emotional design and avoid designs that feels manipulative and intrusive?
Like it is very actually very tricky. Like designers have to always um, use the design to manipulate. Actually, I don't know whether it is correct to use that word, but actually we try to evoke certain feelings, no? So to for different audiences, we are creating different kind of emotions with our design. So one thing that we can do is like as a UX person, we have to follow some certain ethics in our design. Like we don't use the dark patterns or like we don't use our design to exploit the user's vulnerability. And also the sometimes we can also refer to the ethical design manifesto to avoid that kind of interactions or that kind of emotion evokes in our design. And always have a feeling of empathy, and then avoid that kind of like privacy policies and all. Then the user is always having that fear or maybe that privacy concerns always. So respect those levels and then only design. That is the thing that we can do actually.
Okay, okay.
Okay, thank you for the
Thank you.
questions.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anirudhan.
Hey, Mithra,
Hi.
yeah, I'd like to. I don't have any question, but I was I was impressed by the way you spoken. It was very elegant and very slow, so that was good. So
Thank you.
I definitely I don't have any questions. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi Mitra, Siddharth this side. As you have said the example of WhatsApp, right? To delete the whatever you explained in the PPT.
Yeah.
So how to balance that thing? I mean, it works for me. Sometimes I message that, sometimes I delete it,
Mhm.
which doesn't want to go to the another person. So how to balance that, positive and negative in some app, or what your point on that? I mean, what you suggest or something.
Actually, that need to be thought very deeper. Like here, the
Okay.
delete option have to be
Hmm.
is aligned in the same way. No, for delete for the for everyone, delete for me, and delete for
Yeah.
like that. Three options is given in one go. So in a hurry, then we make that mistake of doing that. So maybe a different way of representation or a selection may help. Actually, our point is that after getting that negative impact, that lasts for longer time. Like that negative feeling is stays with the user. But still we are using. But the other time when we like messaging, I will be more. Uh,
Yeah, cautious about what
cautious
you say.
about what we like that.
Yeah.
So Siddharth, Yadu here. So just to add to that, we could do it in
Mhm.
different ways. So we can differentiate. So delete for everyone doesn't
Mhm.
make so much fuss. So if you delete for everyone, that message has been deleted for everyone, and maybe you can send it again. But deleting for myself is a problem. So if you have like typed something wrong, and then you have
Mhm.
sent it in the group or like somebody, and
Yeah.
you deleted for yourself, then you cannot like fix it. So in such
Mhm.
situations, very quick fix that comes to my mind is maybe you can do away with confirmation messages. You can also give
Mhm.
them options to undo a message for a certain period of time. So things like that won't cause that panic. So the emotion that generates here is panic, fear. So in such situations, if you give them a confirmation message or a window for them to undo that action, that would be helpful.
Yeah.
So I think
Agreed.
these are some quick fixes that
Yeah.
comes to
Yeah.
my
No,
mind.
but
And also,
but Yadu, my point is, I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes you are texting someone, okay? So there's a, because we are discussing about emotion, so sometimes you deleted a couple of things, and that could be the negative impact. But when you see the messages is deleted, but the curiosity is like what you deleted. So that is my point is, I mean, how you fix that one?
Yeah,
Just a
yes,
normal
yes. So
emotion
I think
question.
like I have also I also have had this thought like sometimes when you delete that message, that even
Yeah,
can
have a negative impact.
make
Yeah,
yeah even if that has a negative impact, sometimes it can cause curiosity.
of course.
Imagine we are in the same group, so it's a different perspective, I guess. So imagine we are together in a group, and I have entered something and I've deleted something. You are also in that group, so you are not
Hmm.
asking me in that group. Maybe you will ping me personally and ask me,
Yeah,
hey, what did you delete? If we are
yeah, of
friends,
course.
we'll have a different tone, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So you know, that kind of thing is there. Maybe WhatsApp might have like put it for that.
Yeah, yeah.
We are not sure, but on
Maybe WhatsApp can charge premium fee to show you the deleted message.
There are
no,
lots
but
of
yeah,
apps actually.
but on the other hand, I am speaking about delete for myself.
Okay.
So that causes a big issue. So if you type some word and it was auto corrected and you send it in the group, you accidentally delete it for yourself, then you cannot fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
I
why
So
I mentioned confirmation or undo. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
one other option is also continue to give the user the freedom to delete for everyone, even though they've deleted for themselves. Because that's primarily a lot of times that I've tried to, uh, I actually want to delete for everyone, but because of the multiple options, by mistake, I choose the one for myself. So if you can, so maybe the user might not be able to view the message once again, but if they have the freedom to delete it also for everyone, I think that's one way to look at it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a
And
nice
another
example.
way we can do away with interactions is, imagine you are uploading a big document. If that's a video, so till it uploads, it will show a loader, right? So if you're
Mm.
deleting a message and then there is a loader showing for a couple of seconds, in that time period you can cancel it. So
Actually,
there are
in
different ways if
WhatsApp,
we brainstorm. Yeah.
yeah,
Sorry.
actually in WhatsApp, that undo option is there for 2 seconds or something right now. It is updated like that. So,
Mhm.
but after, and that is for delete for me only. Delete for everyone, that option is not there. And in case of the group chat also, this problem comes, then undo is not possible.
So yes, Mitra, I think we have to just consider the 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 context here,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
everyone knows WhatsApp is also considered as a legal document in some cases for argument's sake. People why Twitter doesn't have a edit feature. I mean, right now they have it, I believe, but for a long time they did not, because
Mm.
it could alter what they say, and people would believe that's the fact for several days or months. And then if they change it, and if you don't maintain that history that has been modified or something, that could be very much misleading. It has so much consequences. It's not just about the ability to design or execute through development. It's about distorting context, right? And if you do the same thing for like a to-do app, right? You have a to-do app with your family, and like buying milk, you delete it, and it can delete for everyone, no consequences, correct? So
Mm.
that's absolutely fine. But when it comes to like public record, like WhatsApp can become a public record if it is engaged with some abuse, or like a larger group like Twitter. When it comes to public record, we have to just stick to what is ethical and what is right, and
Yeah,
everything else will fall in place.
there comes the importance of ethics that we follow in application design. Yeah, thank you, Chris, for that.
Yeah, thank you, Mitra. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Sudha.
Hi, Mitra. I have a question. It's kind of open for all. Starting with you though.
Mhm.
Taking example Instagram. So Instagram, as we all know, I mean, it's in the news, and it's also there, that Instagram affects negatively, in say in terms of anxiety and over consciousness and things like that. But at the same time, it benefits its advertisers and the ones who are using it for building their brands and say small scale businesses. So the question here is, as a platform, as whether it being a website or even if it's a tool, WhatsApp, should it favor the user empathy, or should it favor the reason why app exists, the reason why the founders came to get build a platform, the reason to solve a certain
Oh yeah,
problem?
we have an answer for that. We are not in a position to decide that, Vishnu, unfortunately. Whatever we think, the business decides how the algorithm should be, how the experience should be. I mean, this is too much above our pay grade, but I agree to your point. But unfortunately, this level of design decision is not with us.
I guess it all comes down to numbers then.
It does. It does.
I think anything that comes free, I think we all have to realize as designers, as users, that that means that we are the product, and our information and all of that is what is being sold there. And consuming it means putting ourselves out there as a product for other businesses, for Instagram to make money off. But otherwise, I think one good thing, I really can't say whether that's the only thing they should be doing, but the one feature that Instagram has introduced is restricting the number of hours that you spend on the application, and even other phones, generally, where you can actually control the number of hours that you spend on an application, or locking it post that time period. That's at least one feature that can help us as users moderate the amount of hours. But otherwise, I think all of us, a lot of us are on social media seeking validation, putting out stuff, and every like is kind of a adrenaline rush for us, and we are quickly forgetting how to live in the real world and kind of addicted to the digital world. Yeah. Mitra, you want to add to that?
Actually, we all know that these are affecting us. Like we all know that we have to limit us, but the designers have wisely chosen our emotionally evoking kind of design. So we all tend to follow that pattern always. So it is like more or less we have to understand in a level that they are manipulating or they are changing our emotions. So we have to, like that, we have to always have that second thought or in mind while using application, digital, everything. Be mindful and like that. Maybe that could help.
Yes, Mitra, I too agree with this. The limitation is very important while we are in the social media. Yes.
I guess even the meditating app or health, anything that talks about benefiting you in mental health, wellness, and all that. At the end, they want you to use their app the most.
Yes.
As a, yeah. So
Actually, we have to think like as UX designers, we have to consider what the client is actually asking us to do. And we as UX designers have the basic responsibility to keep that basic ethics while considering the users as well, in place that also.
just to add one this point that I've observed, as UX designers, we make it difficult for users to either delete or to get rid of their personal data in simple, but we make it very easy for them to input their data.
Yes. That is also another way, like data collection is very, very sensitive kind of thing. and we are sold like that.
Yes. Abhilash, hello. If you have any questions, can you please put in the chat window?
Yeah,
Is there
Mithra.
any? Yes.
Hello.
Yes, Nitin, go ahead.
Yeah, this is yeah. First of all, thank you for choosing this topic. I think this might be one among the best topics we have here in IxDF. So thanks to you for that.
Thank you,
And
thank you, Nitin.
So one of the slides you have mentioned like design is aimed to reach users on 3 cognitive levels, right? One is
Yes.
visceral, behavioral, and reflect.
Yes, sir.
So in that you mentioned like, so users develop only positive associations, and in bracket you said sometimes including negative emotions with products, brands, etc. So yes, obviously we are in search of all the positive emotions and all, like in the end, when we look at the app, you want to get the positive emotions from not only from the app, from everywhere, right? So we don't even think about what negative emotions are, negative. So in that slide, you mentioned a point, sometimes including negative emotions. So just wanted to know about what are those negative emotions and how. I don't know whether I understood it wrongly.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
just want to know a little bit more about that.
Yeah, it's a very good question, Nathan. Thank you for that. So it is that, as you said, explained it already, like if we are having the positive emotions, then only users think it, I have to more often use that application, right? So, so our aim as designer is to create that positive emotions. But in order to understand something is positive, some designs can be created by initially creating that negative emotion. So some user is first, maybe some storytelling kind of thing is used in that application or something, which initially creates that problem with the user, and then our application is a solution for that negative experience. If that comes in, that positive emotion is later on created by initially creating a negative, like a negative emotion at the beginning. So that is the thing that is mentioned in that. By sometimes we are creating that positive emotion by giving some negative emotion in the beginning. Likewise,
okay.
designing is, yeah. Does that answer?
I get that, right? So in order to get into that positive emotion, sometimes in between the storytelling, like whatever you said, you will be explaining the fact in a like those negative emotions will be there in that storytelling way, and after that you will drive that particular user into a positive experience. Is that what you mentioned?
Like if it is a fitness application or something, first initially they will be taking our readings like weight and all, this is our risk and all, like that, no? These all creates that negative emotions in us. So, I have to be very cautious about my weight. So I'll be having the diabetic problem, like that. So initially, that that negative emotion is about in us by taking readings like that. So then, by using that application is a solution for the user. That giving badges after reaching 0.5, reduce in my weight, like that. Maybe attaining that, then that becomes the positive emotion. For initially he had that negative emotion, but now it gives a sense of or evokes a sense of positiveness, happiness in the user. So Does that answer?
Yeah, thank you. I get that. Yes, understood.
Thank you.
I think just one simple example is Swiggy reminding us that we're hungry. So actually, I'm frustrated that I'm hungry and they're asking me. But then it's also kind of reminding me to place an order or creating. Maybe I'm not even hungry, but it creates a
That
need for that
temptation
food.
is created. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, really. This really makes sense. Yes, thank you.
Hi. So, first of all, thank you, Mithra ma'am, for taking that wonderful session. I just wanted to add a point. So I was right now thinking about how products actually use emotional design in their designs, and I could think of this one feature which Google Photos has. It's called memories or revisit the moment. So I felt like that was a good feature which actually connects with the users, because while we are using any other apps, we'll get this small notification or pop-up which actually shows us a memory which happened to us before, and it'll also show a small photo. And what happens is that you will naturally go click it and go back to Google Photos, because you are emotionally connected to that memory or photo. So that actually increases the ways in which people go back to the product. So I think that's a good example of emotional design. So yeah.
Same kind of thing is there in Facebook also after anniversary and wishes all. This is how
Yeah.
you know before last year like that it would be showing like that. So that will always create that emotional attachment with the application.
Yeah,
Thank you,
exactly.
Anamol, for that.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. So is there any other questions or feedback you have to share with the Mithra? Yes, please. You can go ahead. Okay, then thank you so much, Mithra, for taking time for us and bringing to this an interesting session. So really it was one of an informative session too. So I would like to thank each and everyone who took their valuable time from their busy day to attend this webinar, and a special thanks to all the participants who actively participated in the Q&A session, especially Amal, Anirudhan, Nikhil, Vandana, Siddharth, Yadu, Krish, Vaishnav, Nitin, and everybody who has participated in Q&A and discussed your feedback, your experience, your doubts, everything was one added point to this session. And finally, thank you all the volunteers of the IXDF team that worked behind the scenes to make this event happen. Please write to us and let us know how you found the session. We are available on the social media like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Clubhouse at IXDF Kerala. You can also write to us isdfkerala@hotmail.com. We have an IXDF Kerala Community in Interaction Design Foundation website. Hope to see you on next section as we come to you with another webinar. Until that, stay safe and stay tuned. Thank you.